We begin tonight with the death of one of the helicopter pilots fighting the fires in and around the Port Hills area of Christchurch, and also, of course, with the fires they were fighting. Throughout the day, as you'll hear shortly, we've been speaking to people whose homes have been saved by their work with monsoon buckets, with a gusty wind periodically fanning the flames and causing direction changes, and with the fire spreading across a large area. Somewhere between 10 and 15 helicopters have been involved in urgent firefighting work. But this afternoon, just after 2:30, one of the choppers crashed in the area above Sugarloaf car park, or somewhere thereabouts. That's high above Christchurch on the Port Hills, just to the south of the city. The fast-moving fire front near Taitapu has been just southwest of there. We're going to talk to residents, to our reporter Conan Young, and to the Selwyn Principal Rural Fire Officer shortly. But firstly, I've just spoken to Canterbury Police Metro Commander Superintendent Lane Todd, and this is what he could tell us about the helicopter crash.
Unfortunately, we were advised just after 2:30 p.m. this afternoon that one of the helicopters that has been involved in the wider firefighting large fire behind Christchurch was involved in a fatal crash. There was only one occupant of the machine, the pilot, and unfortunately when emergency services have arrived, he's been located as deceased.
So he had been using a monsoon bucket very effectively, we understand from people who have benefited from their expertise.
Obviously, it's a wee bit early for us to determine exactly what's occurred, but obviously he, along with a lot of other helicopters and the wider fire community, have been actively involved in fighting this fire for over 24 hours. So our thoughts are with the wider emergency services who've been actively involved. At this stage, we've got a police and fire teams on site, and we're in liaison with the CAA, and we'll be looking to carry out a thorough investigation.
Superintendent Todd, can we clarify, was it around the Sugarloaf car park there, was it?
The exact details of where it's occurred and what's actually occurred are still being determined, but what I can say is the crash has occurred within the, obviously the wider fire scene itself.
Okay, and were they returning to that area to refuel or get water? There's a couple of ponds up the top of that hill, isn't there? Or was he in transit at the time?
The exact details of what's occurred have yet to be determined. As I'm sure you can appreciate, we haven't long been on site, and so at this stage we're still having an initial assessment of the scene. Obviously, we still have to be conscious of the wider fire as well, so there's some safety issues that we're working through with their fire colleagues and liaising with the CA as to what we're doing right now and what we can do overnight.
Absolutely, and they're doing critical work. Have you been able to get helicopters back into the air, or is it too soon for that?
The incident commander brought all the helicopter pilots back and gave them a briefing. They've had time to absorb the unfortunate news, and I understand the majority of them have now continued to fly to get the job done. But I understand also there's a couple that have elected just to take some time to absorb. So obviously, as I say, our thoughts are with that wider emergency service as well as the families that will be involved.
It's Superintendent Lane Todd, who was the acting district commander. I was talking to him just a short time ago.